Hamilton makes a shocking admission after Ferrari's strategy. Toto makes a final decision on driver choices, and Mercedes blasts Red Bull for always complaining. Do consider subbing. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Lewis Hamilton's highly anticipated move to Ferrari hasn't been the fairy tale many expected. It started with hope and excitement, but recent events have created a tension-filled atmosphere that has fans talking. The latest chapter unfolded during the Austrian Grand Prix, when Hamilton found himself in a heated clash with his race engineer, Riccardo Adami, over race strategy. As the race progressed and the second round of pit stops approached, Hamilton made his intentions clear over the team radio. He didn't want to pit again and fought for a one-stop strategy, which clashed with Ferrari's plans. This led to a tense exchange between Hamilton and Adami, showcasing the strain Hamilton has faced as he adjusts to life with a new team. In a moment that reflects the pressure of high-stakes racing, Hamilton told Adami, "My tires are okay. Can I extend? How many more laps left?" Adami's firm response was simple, "And box 20 laps." Hamilton stood his ground, insisting, "I don't want to stop." But in the end, Hamilton followed his engineer's orders and pitted, ultimately finishing in fourth place, just over 9 seconds behind his teammate Charles Leclerc. After the race, Hamilton faced questions about whether his strategy had been a viable option. He confidently responded, yes, to the possibility of a one-stop. However, with some time to reflect, he acknowledged the team's perspective, admitting, "But in the end, I saw that the decision taken was probably the right one." The unfolding saga has sparked a debate among fans. Was Ferrari right to overrule Hamilton's strategy? And how will this clash impact their dynamic moving forward? As the 2025 season continues to heat up, one thing is clear: Hamilton's journey with Ferrari is proving to be as intricate as the sport itself. Will he find his way and integrate seamlessly with the team's strategies? Or will this be a stumbling block in his quest for another championship? Only time will tell. Stay tuned as we follow Hamilton's career and the push for a successful season with Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton's journey in the Ferrari SF25 has been anything but smooth. 11 races into his career with the team, Hamilton has yet to see the podium, despite a promising win in the sprint event in China. Currently positioned 6th in the Drivers' Championship, his teammate Charles Leclerc leads him by a significant margin with 4 podiums, including a recent finish in Austria. Hamilton expressed his struggles with the car's performance, noting, "I generally struggle to drive this car in the race. Adjusting to the balance of the vehicle has proven challenging." He mentioned significant issues like understeer and oversteer, both in low and high-speed sections, making it difficult for him to find stability, essential for a successful outing on a track like Austria. Despite these difficulties, he acknowledged progress, saying, "Still a lot to improve, but being P3 and P4 is already a big step forward." However, the emotional toll of falling back in races weighs on him. It's never a good feeling when you drop back. Looking forward, the British Grand Prix looms large for Hamilton. This race holds special significance as it's his home event, and he has a record 9 victories at Silverstone. The anticipation and pressure will be palpable as fans expect nothing less than a stellar performance from the beloved driver. Meanwhile, there's some scrutiny from the past races, particularly regarding his strategies. Amid this, the stand-in Ferrari boss recently responded to Hamilton's disagreement about strategy during the Austrian Grand Prix, pointing towards ongoing adjustments within the team. Moving ahead, Hamilton remains hopeful for breakthroughs alongside Leclerc as they both adapt to their roles within the team. It's evident that while challenges abound, there are also signs of progress that could signify a turning point for the drivers and the team alike. Stay tuned. Mercedes is at a crossroads as they gear up for the new regulations in Formula One, set to debut in 2026. With Max Verstappen's name popping up in discussions once again, the stakes have never been higher for the team. Team principal Toto Wolff has hinted that the decision regarding Mercedes' driver lineup will be finalized before the summer break in August. This is crucial as both current drivers, George Russell and Kimi Antonelli, are not contracted beyond the 2025 season. The anticipation surrounding the 2026 regulations extends beyond just new vehicles hitting the track. Teams will be racing with smaller models that utilize active aerodynamics, alongside revamped engines emphasizing electric power and fully sustainable biofuels. With such major changes on the horizon, having the right team behind the wheel will be vital. Rumors about Verstappen moving to Mercedes intensified during the Austrian Grand Prix weekend. Russell remarked about ongoing discussions between Mercedes and Verstappen, which has undoubtedly fueled speculation. The reigning four-time world champion has a contract with Red Bull that lasts until the end of 2028. However, the existence of a performance-related exit clause raises eyebrows, especially as Red Bull's dominance in F1 has started to wane in recent months. Should Verstappen find himself outside the top four in the Drivers' Championship after the final race before the summer break, that exit clause could come into play. While currently sitting in third place, 9 points ahead of Russell, Wolff is keen to finalize Mercedes' driver lineup ahead of that critical moment. When asked about the timeline for this decision, Wolff stressed the need for respect toward all parties involved in this process. It's essential to communicate effectively and make timely decisions so that drivers are not left in limbo. With these developments, the upcoming weeks will be pivotal for both Mercedes and Verstappen, and fans around the world will be watching closely to see how this story unfolds. Can Mercedes secure a deal with the dominant driver of the era, or will the uncertainty surrounding Verstappen's future see him stay with Red Bull? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the world of Formula One just got a whole lot more exciting. Stay tuned for more updates as we follow this unfolding saga. In the world of Formula One, the anticipation for the 2026 season is building as significant regulation changes are set to transform the sport. Teams are gearing up for these changes, and discussions are already underway among team principals and drivers regarding their strategies and prospects. Christian Horner, Red Bull's principal, has voiced his thoughts on Max Verstappen's contract situation and the links to Mercedes. While speculation swirls, Horner emphasized that Red Bull remains focused on their own performance. He noted, Mercedes have got their own issues, hinting at the challenges the Silver Arrows are facing. In fact, after a recent race, Mercedes found themselves more than a minute behind the leader, showcasing the intensity of their struggles. Verstappen also recently reflected on his time with former teammate Sergio Perez, revealing that he left some promises unfulfilled before Perez's departure from the team. This adds another layer of complexity to team dynamics as they prepare for the future. On the regulatory side, there are intriguing developments concerning penalties and team protests. Red Bull made headlines after protesting George Russell's victory in the Canadian Grand Prix, a move that stirred discussions within the paddock and highlighted the competitive tensions among teams. Amidst all the drama, F1 drivers are acutely aware of the penalties they can face as the season progresses. A crucial aspect of this is the penalty point system, which can lead to a race ban if too many points accumulate. Fortunately for Verstappen, some of his points have recently expired, easing the immediate threat of a suspension. As this season unfolds, the stakes continue to rise, and fans can expect thrilling races and dramatic storylines. Be sure to follow developments closely as teams race towards the summer break, and keep an eye on how these changes will shape the future of Formula One. Stay connected with us for all the latest updates on teams, drivers, and breaking news in the exhilarating world of Formula One. Toto Wolff is back in the spotlight, this time addressing the FIA's potential plans to introduce a fine for teams whose protests are ultimately rejected by stewards. This comes in the wake of Red Bull's controversial protest following George Russell's contentious win at the Canadian Grand Prix, which turned into a protracted drama for all involved. In an unprecedented moment, Russell secured victory over Max Verstappen after a dramatic race filled with tight regulations and high stakes. However, as both drivers raced behind the safety car, Russell hit the brakes abruptly, catching Verstappen off guard and allowing him to slip past. This moment sparked immediate concern and stirred up strong emotions, with Russell quickly voicing his displeasure by claiming Verstappen had overtaken him under the safety car's influence. Red Bull stepped into the fray, officially protesting Russell's driving tactics, accusing him of unsportsmanlike behavior and failing to maintain the required distance from the safety car. When the dust settled, it took the FIA 6 hours to confirm Russell's win, dismissing Red Bull's claims and leading to the team forfeiting a €2,000 protest deposit, marking the incident as a costly endeavor. Russell himself was vocal about the experience, labeling the protest a waste of time. The subsequent fallout has stirred discussions surrounding the FIA's governance and whether the current protest fees effectively deter frivolous complaints. Toto Wolff had quite a bit to say about the situation during the recent Austrian Grand Prix, insisting the right to protest is essential in a sport where every position can dramatically influence championships. However, Wolff expressed concerns over the legitimacy of certain protests, suggesting that claiming unsportsmanlike behavior over minor infractions feels exaggerated. He emphasized that while protesting is part of the competitive nature of F1, the governance bodies must introduce measures to ensure such protests are grounded and reasonable to maintain the sport's integrity. With the FIA contemplating new fees and regulations, this dynamic is set to evolve. It's a pivotal moment for F1 as it shores up its approaches to governance and maintains the delicate balance between fierce competition and fair play. Stay tuned for what unfolds as teams, drivers, and the FIA navigate this intricate landscape. It's clear that the stakes have never been higher, and in a sport where every detail matters, the implications of these changes could reverberate across the grid. When it comes to protests in Formula One, perspectives can vary widely. For some, there are justifiable reasons to protest, while for others, it can feel like a stretch. The wait for a protest decision can be arduous, and when it stretches to hours, confusion can occur, causing teams and drivers to miss flights and face predictable results. The topic of higher fines has also surfaced in discussion. Many, including team principals, express that no one delights in the notion of escalating fines. Formula One is a sport that prides itself on maintaining a balance between strict regulations and the spirit of competition. However, in certain instances, imposing fines can serve a purpose. The FIA administration is actively contemplating the implementation of fines that reflect the severity of infractions. There's a sentiment that penalties should feel significant enough to discourage teams from stepping out of line. The aim is to strike a balance that keeps the competition fair without tiptoeing over the line into a realm of excessive punishment. Jonathan Wheatley, a former sporting director at Red Bull, explains that this is fundamentally a healthy conversation for Formula One. He emphasizes that while teams do wrestle over whether to lodge protests, it's crucial to protect their right to challenge decisions when they feel wronged. Should the process become burdensome or overly restrictive, it could lead to further complications within the racing community. There's a belief that transparency and open dialogue about protest fees are encouraged. Everyone is keen on discussing not just the costs involved, but how those costs should align with the principle of competition. Changes like these can foster a vibrant conversation around maintaining fairness within the sport. As for the latest updates, Toto Wolff recently asserted he has no intention of prolonging driver waits unnecessarily. Meanwhile, Bernie Ecclestone has made a notable return to the F1 paddock after decades of involvement. Amidst these developments, the FIA has swiftly responded to concerns raised during recent races, ensuring that the sport remains as fair and engaging as ever. So whether it's about understanding the nuances of protests or keeping up with the latest developments, one thing is undeniable: Formula One continues to thrive on transparency and the evolving conversation around competition. Stay tuned for more updates as the season unfolds. Today, we're diving into an exciting showdown between racing legends Fernando Alonso and Lewis Hamilton during the recent Austrian Grand Prix. In a thrilling encounter that almost went unnoticed, Alonso managed to navigate a tricky moment on the circuit. Let's break down what happened. During the race, Alonso found himself in a hard-fought tussle with Hamilton. Footage that wasn't broadcasted caught Alonso running off the track in an effort to avoid a collision with Hamilton, who was trying to make an aggressive overtaking maneuver. As it turns out, Hamilton miscalculated his approach, coming in a little late as he pushed to pass Alonso. This brief skirmish exemplified the razor-thin margins that drivers face at this level of competition. With the challenging setup in the race, Alonso had a solid 7th-place finish, marking his third top 10 result of the F1 2025 championship, after qualifying 11th, just missing the crucial Q3 by a mere 0.76 seconds. Aston Martin executed a one-stop strategy that allowed Alonso to gain positions, specifically putting him ahead of Hamilton following the latter's pit stop. When Hamilton launched his attack on Alonso using DRS, it was a high-pressure situation. The race engineer, Riccardo Adami, was monitoring the pace and clearly aware of the stakes as he communicated to Hamilton about Alonso's laps. But when Hamilton attempted to surge ahead at turn 1, he closed the door too aggressively. Consequently, Alonso had to veer off track to avoid a potential incident, a move he later confirmed to his team, saying, "Hamilton was a little bit late. I had to go off to avoid an incident, but all good." His engineer, Andrew Vizard, clearly noted the situation, encouraging Alonso to keep pushing. "Copy, we saw, mate. Let's just get back. You're doing a good job." This exchange highlights the critical communication that occurs between drivers and their teams during the heat of competition. The Austrian Grand Prix was packed with drama beyond just the Alonso-Hamilton duel. Other drivers like Lando Norris had exceptional performances, while teams faced their own challenges. Alonso's run was notable not just for the skirmishes, but also for his tactical role, as he battled for positions against several contenders, staying competitive and maintaining pressure on his rivals. For much of the race, Alonso remained close enough to the front pack, often benefiting from DRS to help him keep pace. However, during the crucial moments, he communicated to his team that the pace felt unrealistic, hinting that losing DRS would significantly impact his speed. "This pace is not real. As soon as I lose the DRS, you will see the real pace, so you decide." With each lap, the tension mounted, showcasing the strategic intricacies and the fierce competition that we love about Formula One. Ultimately, Alonso's agility on the track and his sharp focus exemplified why he continues to be a key player in the sport, even at 43 years old. Stay tuned as we continue to analyze more thrilling moments from the Austrian GP and what they mean for the ongoing championship. In a recent interview, Fernando Alonso shared insights into his strategic approach during the race against Liam Lawson. He revealed that he never intended to overtake Lawson, emphasizing the importance of maintaining DRS to maximize his AMR 25 speed. "I did a race as if it were a time trial on a bicycle," Alonso explained. He cleverly positioned himself behind Lawson to capitalize on DRS opportunities, pushing hard during corners to stay close and ensure he retained that speed advantage. Alonso noted, "I think I was about half a second behind Lawson, and by staying close to him, I was gaining half a second per lap." This clever strategy paid off for him, allowing him to gather valuable points. He humorously recounted his team's question about when to pit, saying he only wanted to stop when Lawson did, as he didn't possess the pace to break away. Ultimately, Alonso described himself as an extension of Lawson, guiding him to a points finish. Currently, he sits 13th in the Drivers' Championship with 14 points, sharing that position with teammate Lance Stroll. Aston Martin, on the other hand, stands at 8th in the Constructors' Championship with 28 points, just one behind Haas and 2 ahead of Sauber. Alonso's adaptive racing style highlights his experience and the critical nature of teamwork in Formula One, especially as the season progresses. With multiple challenges on the horizon, it's anyone's game in the F1 Championship race. As we dive deeper into this competitive season, stay tuned for more updates and stories from the world of motorsport. Fernando Alonso's journey is a reminder that strategy and experience often trump sheer speed on the racetrack.